Okay, welcome back to Daddy Daughter Talks. Um, Tonight's topic, or this episode, is going to be put until you can place. You want to describe to them what we mean by putting until you can place, guys?
No, because I need a refresher.
You need a refresher on put until you can place. Okay. Um, this is the analogy I'm going to use to explain put until you can place. But this is all about communication. Most of anything we talk about is about communication. So let's say you move into an apartment and you have all of your boxes. All the boxes are here. And let's just, for this conversation, we're talking about the kitchen. Um, you want to get your place to normality as soon as possible, um, which will require that you get these boxes up out of here, get this clutter out of here. So you take all the glasses, you take all the plates, you take all the bowls, the forks and spoons, and you literally put them in the cabinets and drawers. Don't necessarily have them in a particular order. Just put them in all the cabinets and all of the drawers. With the boxes being empty, you can now rid yourself of these boxes, i.e., the clutter. You can always go back and place the cups, the bowls, the plates, the forks and spoons where they need to be. But the main thing was to get them out of the boxes so you can get the clutter out of your place. So, how this relates to communication, in my opinion, and what I've talked to Kel-Sei about, um, sometimes it's just best to get the words out of your system. It's like on a previous episode, she was talking about having a difficult conversation with me, but she kind of refrained from having the conversation because she didn't know how she wanted to place the words. But being that she and I have a certain type of relationship, she just decided to go ahead and just call me and just talk to me about it anyway. She didn't necessarily know exactly what she wanted to say, but she knew that she had something to say. So she opened her mouth and just started talking. And she just put the words out there. And I, being the father that I am and the person that I am, I then began to ask questions. And asking those questions allowed her to place her ideas where they needed to be. And through my questions, helped her begin to understand what it is that she was truly trying to say. Would you say that's accurate?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's what it is. It's important to get your ideas and to get your feelings out on the table, even if you don't know exactly how to express yourself. Just get them out there. You can place the words later on. Just get them out. And I think that's important for any relationship. You may not always have the time and the opportunity to wait until you can deliver this message in an optimum way. Just get them out, and through communicating thereafter with a series of asking questions and everything else, you can then really come up with what they are looking for. uh, Going back to when I worked in a retail space and just working in sales in general, people call in or people come in and they ask all the time for this one thing, but they really don't know what it is they're looking for. They don't know what they're asking for or anything. So they're just putting it there. But through speaking with them and asking questions, we then get to the point of what they really were in there for. So we'll have an opportunity to go back and place the words. But at first, we have to put the words out there. And then we can come back and place the words where they need to be and really get to the communication and understanding of what the interaction was about to start with.
And,
Okay, Mike.
and I think that learning that concept has helped me so much in my young adult life because I sometimes struggle with finding my words. And I think that I don't really have room to speak until I know what it is that I'm talking about, or I know exactly what it is that I want to say. And I would often just choose to not say anything. And sometimes it made me feel like I wasn't heard, but obviously you can't be heard if you don't speak up. But it made me feel voiceless because in my head, I thought that I needed to know exactly what I'm going to say, how I'm going to say it, and I need to be ready to respond or defend whatever it is the person talking to, like just counteract with what they were going to say. And it always feels stuck between vulnerability and expression and no, don't say that. Like it just made me constantly feel like I was stuck. But then learning about the put versus place, it showed that I can get this idea out while it's still fresh. And if I'm talking with the right person, if I'm talking with an effective communicator, they're going to ask questions because they truly want to understand. And they're going to help me get to where it is that I'm trying to get. And in the off chance that I'm talking to an average mediocre who may not be the best communicator, I can at least still put this thought out into the atmosphere. And as I continue to try to articulate better, as I continue to search for those words, I'll find those words eventually, and I can be heard. My thoughts matter. Whatever it is that I'm trying to say matters. And somebody out there just may need to hear it. And even though I may not have everything structurally down pat, something is still going on in there, and it's something that I have to get out. So sometimes it's okay to just put those words out there and come back to it later or keep trying until I can articulate just what it is that I want to say. And I just thought that was really cool about just that concept of knowing that you ain't always got to have the words. And something that a friend of mine told me, I was trying to express something to him, and I just kept saying, I don't know the words. I don't know the words. And he was like, well, you can just say stupidly poop. I mean, I really won't understand, but if that's how you feel, then that's how you feel. And you can just keep saying words until those words become sentences, until those sentences become paragraphs, and then until those paragraphs become a conversation. And I was just like, haha, put these words down and we can place them in their spot later.
Mm-hmm.
They're on to something.
But that's the difference between gibberish and a sentence. Gibberish is words, but a sentence is words placed. But gibberish can turn into complete sentences if you are allowed to get them out. And that's the whole thing. If that conversation is inside your head, it ain't communication. And you can't hold me accountable for not understanding how you feel if you never gave an attempt to communicate with me.
And I found a lot of times, not even just dealing with you, just dealing with a lot of people, that I take it, and I'm just sitting there I don't really know exactly what to say, so let me just not say nothing at all. And eventually I blow up, whether it's to myself or it's outwardly towards that person. And it's like, I created this whole idea of feeling unheard, feeling unappreciative, not having the room or space to talk, when I made me feel like that. Nobody else didn't put me in that space. You can't shut down something that don't even start the initiation process. So, but I put those off on the other people simply because I would not talk. And it's so weird because I kind of run my conversations with other people on a speak up or shut up type of policy, but I will be quick to choose the shut up route in a minute at that time in my life if I didn't have all of my work. Like, I just really thought that I needed to have it all together, and it just made me feel so terrible. And and then it also made me displace these feelings that and this responsibility on other people that they had nothing to do with that. Ain't nobody talking. Ain't nobody. If anything, they were trying to pull it out of me, and that just made me even more pressured to be able to get it all right the first time too. And it took for me like, I don't have to be perfect. I don't always have to know exactly what it is that I'm talking about. But if I give that person the opportunity to help me get it out, or I give that person the opportunity to even try to understand, then we're working with something.
So, do you remember as a child, I would ask you, baby, what's wrong? Nothing. Okay, baby, what's wrong? Nothing. Okay, it's obvious that something is bothering you. What's wrong? Nothing. What would I tell you?
I forgot.
If you act like nothing's going on, I will too.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not going to placate to, I can't force it out of you. So if you don't, and I'm sure at that point in time, you didn't have the words. You couldn't find your words. But even then, as a smaller person, man, I'm not going to sit here and play with you. You better open your mouth and tell me what it is you got to say, however it comes out. And I'm assuming nowadays it would be like, hey, Dad, I want to talk to you about something, but I'm not 100% sure on how to say it, but I want to talk to you about something. And you'll just tell me what it is that you do know to say, and together we'll figure out what it is you're trying to say. But yeah, as a kid, man, I'm not going to sit here and placate to this foolishness to where I know something's wrong with you, but you want to act like nothing's wrong with you. Okay, cool. Well, I'll act like nothing's wrong with you too. And don't come back to me tomorrow telling me, hey, Dad, you wouldn't listen to me yesterday. Listen to what? I'm literally asking you, what is it? What do you need to talk about? What do you want to get off your chest? So I don't know how that helped you to get to this point. I don't know. But I do recall you doing that. You would do that quite often, to where it's obvious something's bothering you, but I ain't going to talk about it. I'm not going to talk to you about it. All right, cool. Ain't nothing wrong with you. You can walk around limping all damn day if you want to, but if you can't tell me what's wrong with you, I guess you just going to be limping. I ain't finna take you to the doctor neither.
I think it's definitely gotten me to speak up more, but I think now, because I still do it to this day, like I can be in a work setting, make peeing me off, and people are like, oh, what's wrong with you? Nothing. And then I'll catch myself and I'll be like, something is wrong with you and you need something to change before you go off on the deep end, and now you ain't got no change. So now you need to speak up. So now I think now I'm in a point where I catch myself. And okay, wait a minute. Either you're going to sit here and be mad by yourself in the corner, or you're going to give somebody the opportunity to change the scenario.
Right.
Wait, it's your decision, but just make sure if you choose the mad route, be mad at yourself and by yourself. Keep that energy. Sometimes I still take that route, because sometimes I just need to be mad right quick. I'll get over it, but I just need to be mad real quick. And it's also taught me, because like, especially in the workplace, I do not want to be the angry Black girl. Like, oh my, I'm already very assertive, and my confidence can be mistaken sometimes, and people are like, whoa, oh my gosh, she said that. And so when I first got into the work field, I would just refrain from saying stuff. I just wouldn't say nothing. I could see that this ship is about to sink. I can see that doing something terribly wrong. And I would just let it, like, well, it ain't my job. y'all pay me enough for this. And that was like, I would be perfectly fine with that. But then I had to realize, you own this ship too.
Mm-hmm.
You think too. Now, you're not going to get the detrimental hit of it because that's not your position. But you still gonna have to clean this mess up. So let's be a little more proactive. And I was working at Sky Zone, and we were talking about how our parties, we felt like they weren't long enough, or we didn't have enough time to like flip our rooms and get ready for the next parties. And I sat there, and I let everybody talk, say what they wanted to say, let them cuss and do everything they wanted to do. And when it was finally my turn to say something, I was like, well, how about you put on an orange hoodie and you do it? And everybody was looking at me like, oh my goodness. She calling him out in front of everybody. And I was like, see, that's why I don't ever say anything, because then it looked like I'm just the aggressor. And it made me want to retreat. But what I got from that is that boss, while he did not party host, he and he watched those parties, and he saw us busting our tails to flip everything in enough time to make sure that we're being consistent and everybody is getting the same type of party. Now, of course, we do different things with different kids, and it goes based off of the personalities in the room. But he saw how hard we were working to get this done. Now, when I immediately said it, he was looking at me like, how dare you challenge me like that in front of everybody? But for the first time, when I spoke up, somebody actually took my advice. And after that, we sat down and had a conversation. And he was like, okay, this is what I saw. How can I make this better for you? What can I do to change the schedule of the parties? What do you need to make this run more efficiently? And I was like, you joking? Like, this for real? Like, you really gonna take my advice? And from there, together, we restructured our party system. It was more efficient for us party hosts. It was more efficient for the guests. Nobody was rushed. And from that point on, it was a constant check-in. Hey, Kel-Sei, how we doing? Is that system still working okay? Did you need anything? Do I need to come back and watch? Do I need to do this? Do I need to do that? All of that holding back that I had been doing just off of one suggestion and risking it all, being vulnerable and being expressive, I got exactly what I wanted.
Question. When you said, why don't y'all put on an orange hoodie and take care of these parties yourself, were you placing the words or were you putting the words?
I would say putting in the instance, because I definitely didn't know what was going to come of that. And at that point, it was more so out of emotion that I was saying. But I think that they found their place.
Well, they found their place on the back end when you sat down and had a conversation, because it's now he's in essence asking you, what do you mean?
Right.
I heard what you said, but what do you mean? And putting is just that. Putting the words is I'm literally putting it in the atmosphere. But the explanation, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's the placing of the words. So we took the glasses out of the box. We took the cups and the plates and the forks and the spoons, and we just put them in the cabinet and put them in the drawers. Well, we're going to come back later on and separate the dessert forks from the dinner forks, from the dessert spoons, from the soup spoons, from the knives, if you get what I'm saying. So now you can come back and place them where they ought to be. And that was a secondary conversation. You placed your words because he then got a chance to see that, no, she's not an angry Black female. she's a frustrated worker, and there is a better process that can be more efficient for everybody. So at that point in time, you got a chance to place those words. And that's what I was always referring to. Sometimes you don't have the opportunity, the space, or the time to place the words. The conversation was started with you putting the words.
Right.
You know, I've always told you there'll be times as a woman that you will have to tell a man, including me, I need you to stop what you're doing and listen to me. Those aren't placed words. Those are put words. Okay, baby, what's going on? What's happening? And then you can begin to place those words or place your ideas out there on the table, and we can have a conversation and delve further into the way you're feeling and have a discussion, and everything else will be placed at that point in time. But some point in time, you really got to put words out there, i.e. shut the fuck up. You put that out there, and then you go back behind and place why you need this person to shut the F up, because I need you to listen to me. So.
That
the lessons, kiddo.
Yeah, that day, that time, and just that job taught me so much, but specifically in the outside lessons made so much sense. And that's when I was able to finally put it into practice outside of conversing with just you and I.
Mm-hmm.
And I will forever be grateful for him taking the time to, I can't say for sure, but I believe the look on everybody's face, in his face, and just the small conversation afterwards, like, well, you could have said that like by ourselves, kind of looked like he was a little bit offended. But I really appreciate that he didn't take that offense and try to counteract or try to defend. He said, you might be calling me out, but, and that was not in my intention. My intentions weren't to call him out. My intentions were to, in fact, get something in place that's going to make my counterparts' lives a lot easier and overall the business run a lot smoother. But for him to take that initiative to be like, okay, well, this was put out here, so let me see what this is about. And after seeing for himself, he could have very well said, well, y'all get it done. You don't miss a beat, even though you run around like a chicken with your head cut off, but you don't miss a beat, so I don't see nothing wrong with it. But he took the time to look into what it was that I was talking about, and that'll never go unnoticed.
You know, one thing that he did, I think, is probably one of the most important elements of communication. What he did was he asked a question. So let's go back to the concept of being an angry Black woman. That's a concept. But one thing that it rarely incorporates the accusation of an angry Black woman is, why are you angry? Nobody wants to know why you're an angry Black woman. They just see that you are an angry Black woman, and they want to just cure that problem or fix that problem. How can you fix anything if you don't know why? Like, that's a whole nother conversation altogether. That's a whole nother conversation altogether. All right. Did you have anything more to add to this topic?
I guess to close it up, I say put some words out there. Now, when you put them out there, you better be ready for what may not come to follow. But it's important to put those words out there until you can find the place where they belong. And not only does it help you to be heard, but as the listener, following up with questions, listening to understand will help that person place those words. It's not just on the speaker, it's also on the listener as well. Because if I'm putting stuff out in the atmosphere and you see me struggling, but you're like, well, when she gets to what she's trying to say, I guess she'll say it. I mean, it's just gonna take me much longer. I may just get to where I'm trying to go, but as a an active and an efficient listener, I definitely challenge you to ask questions and to help people place those words, but don't try to place them yourself because this is what you think they said. Nobody pays you to think. Ask questions and you'll know for sure.
I think you can ask questions, but ask questions, don't ask statements.
Yes, ask questions.
Actually ask questions and allow for the person to respond and respond the way that they want to respond. Don't ask statements. People do that all the time. You mean this, right? That's a statement.
If it can end with a yes or no, you ain't asking the right questions. You ain't asking a question.
Well, it's a closed-ended question, but I get exactly what you're saying. Yeah, don't ask statements, ask questions, and ask it with the intent of absorbing what the person's saying in response, because it's their truth. It ain't yours. It's their truth. Their truth may be wrong, but it's still their truth. And going through these exercises kind of help you. I think it helps you understand who's actually listening to you and who's not. If a person does not ask you a question, they're probably not listening to you. I know myself, when I speak of a lot of different topics and I'm comfortable speaking about uncomfortable topics, i.e. race relations and everything, I come across opposition all of the time. And I don't want to argue with people. I don't mind having a healthy discussion, but I don't want to argue with people. And I find myself in a position where there's an argument. The first thing I'm going to say is, when did you ask me? Why do I feel the way I feel? And I'm giving them the invitation to ask me why I feel the way I feel. If I just tell you how I feel or why I feel the way I feel, which I probably did that in the whole presentation of this program anyway. If you ask me a question, then you're probably be more apt to listen to the answer. If I just give you the answer, you ain't listening to me no way. But that's something I would invite anybody out there. Anytime you involve yourself into a discussion, ask questions, because a lot of times we find ourselves arguing with people on our same side. And we didn't really realize that because we never asked the question to start with. We are talking about the exact same thing. It may be from a different point of view, but we're really on the same side, just on the opposite side of the fence. But being that we never asked the question and just went at each other, we're arguing a fight that's not even a fight or an argument to start with. We're arguing against, and we're arguing against a teammate instead of arguing against an opponent, but we don't understand that because we never asked those questions.
Right, and then also a lot of times when we do get into more controversial conversations, a lot of people are listening for an agreement. I don't have to agree with you. I'd rather you understand where I'm coming from than you trying to make me agree with you. The easiest way to disagree with you is for you to try to push your plight and your positioning on me. And you push so hard, and I'm just like, whether you, just to wrap this up and give you an example, veganism, because that's very big right now. Instead of trying to beat it into me as to why I should be vegan, they can just tell me what they like about it, and I can choose to agree or disagree and leave it at that. But I understand the benefits and why you chose to be a vegan. Now, based off of that understanding, I may very well want to do more research to that. I may want to look into it. I may not want to be a complete vegan, but maybe I'm going to have a vegan day. You're going to catch my attention way more because you're not trying to get me to agree with you. You are just showing me that you like this, and now that I don't feel so attacked, I want to understand more. So when you are listening or when you are engaging in conversations, look for understanding. Don't worry about if that person agrees with you or not, because sometimes they will, sometimes you won't. But if y'all agreeing to disagree, but y'all still don't even understand what's going on, what was even the point of the conversation?
Yep. Let's look at it this way. We have 2 eyes, 2 nostrils, 2 ears, 1 mouth. Can you learn by looking?
Yeah.
Can you learn by smelling? There's a question.
I said yeah.
Oh, I didn't hear you. Can you learn by listening?
Yeah.
Can you learn by talking?
Not really.
You can, but only if you're listening.
It's not as
Only if
effective.
you're listening. It's not as effective. You can learn by talking, but only if you're listening. But that's a reason why we have two of everything but a mouth. Sometimes we just need to shut the hell up and just listen. Or look, or smell, but shut the hell up. So those other things can work. But that's the topic in the lesson for today. Put until you can place. Just get it out of you and let communication take effect. But as long as you hold it within yourself, it's rather difficult for communication to take place. And communication will be the basis of almost everything that we talk about on this channel. So get used to it.
Yes.
And with that being said, I think we're going to draw an end to this episode of Daddy Daughter Talks. So make sure you find your way to the subscribe button so you can keep up on the videos that we post. Make sure you go ahead and traipse your way over to the like button. We would love for you to leave comments. But most importantly, if you did like the message, feel free to share it with others. Because if it impacted you, if you found value in it, I'm pretty sure that there are people around you that will find value in it as well. So we thank you guys for viewing and look forward to sharing more videos with you guys in the future.
Put this video out there so we can place the words where they go.
Bingo. And with that being said, Daddy Daughter Talk out.
Hey, that's the